Welcome back, guys. Am I audible properly? Those who are joining online, stop talking now, guys.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay. So in the last session, we were discussing about like how to create a service which will be synchronized throughout all the components, right? So let's go back to code and we'll check it once. Okay, so yesterday we were working on this test application and we are going to see the same thing today as well. Okay, so yesterday we were working on a application, something like this. Whenever you are clicking on this button, it will change to unsubscribe, unsubscribe, and unsubscribe. But what we want is we want our components to be synchronized with each other. Synchronized with each other means if I'm clicking unsubscribe here, so all should be unsubscribed at a time, right? So this is what we were talking about yesterday. So let's open all the components first. This is the first component, and you will see that in the first component we are making use of the service section, and the same thing we will do with the second component and the third component as well. So second is also using the service. Let's check the third one, and third one also is using the, okay, it's not using the service. Here it is using. Now what we have done is all of these three components are using the subscription service, all of them, right? This one, and this one. But they are not working in a synchronous manner. They are not working in synchronous manner because this particular service, let me open the service as well. This particular TypeScript service or subscribe service, it is actually working in a different way here. It is saying that whosoever is using me, I will work differently. Means the behavior of this service is going to be different for all other components, right? For all other components, the behavior will be different here. So we need to create a shared resource. Shared resource means all of the components should share the same resource at a time. All of the component should use a shared resource. Shared resource means all should be synchronized at the same time. So we are going to see that creating a shared service. Shared service simply means that it will be synchronized. So we will write first here that to achieve the functionality of shared resource or shared service in Angular, we need to use the service as a behavior subject. As a behavior subject. This allows the state of the service, or here let's say in our case we are talking about a button. So this allows the state of any component to be shared across the multiple templates. So how to create that? So things are very simple. In the step 1 you need to create a service. Step 1, create a service and name it subscription service or subscribe service, anything you can keep. So again let me delete this file. This service file I will delete and we'll do it again. Creating the services is very easy. Just click on the folder, add the file and name the file as subscription dot service dot ts. Right? It should export a class as well. So I will write export class subscription service. That's it. And we need to use this class in other components. So we will mark it with a annotation that is injectable. That is injectable. And in injectable, I will provide the values as provided in root. Means all the components in this particular application can use this particular service. Right? This is what we are saying by writing this at the rate of injectable. Now, as like previous times, we need to create a constructor here, right? Or if you're not creating constructor, like fine. So at first you need to declare a state here. So I will declare something as private subscribed. So I am declaring some variable private subscribed. To this, I will say that it is equals to new behavior subject. New behavior subject. And this behavior subject should be imported from RxJS. We will talk about RxJS as well, but as of now you can understand. So I have created a private subscribed, which is like new behavior subject. What it will return? So it will return the boolean value. It will return a boolean value, and by default it is false. By default it is false. Simple thing I have created in this way, that I have created a subscribed which will accept the behavior subject. Behavior subject, what exactly is behavior in human terms? What exactly is behavior in human terms? Behavior is how you are dealing with others, right? If someone is good with you, means as a good behavior. If someone is not good with you, it's as a bad person, right? So same thing in Angular, we have a behavior subject. It means that if someone is trying to make some change, how they will deal with it. So I am saying that they will deal in the Boolean value. Means either they will say true or they will say false. False means not subscribed. True means subscribed. That's it. After that, after creating this private subscribe, we need to use this now, right? We need to use this. So I will say that subscribed, same value I am writing subscribed, and I will keep a dollar here. That subscribe dollar equals to, if I am keeping subscribe dollar, what does it mean? If I am keeping dollar in at the last of any variable, what does it mean? It's simple JavaScript, guys. This dot subscribed dot as observable. Now I am saying that it will observe the values. What this subscribed will do, it will observe the values. After that, we will create something as toggle subscription. So let's create it, toggle subscription. It is just a function name, guys. You can write anything else, right? Toggle subscription. So kept a simple thing here, the toggle subscription. In this toggle subscription, I will write something as this dot subscribed dot next. This dot subscribe dot next. In next, we have to provide a value. The value is not this dot subscribe dot value. If you kept a not, it means it will change true to false, false to true, right? If you are providing a not symbol in the starting, let's say you are saying that not true, what does it mean? False. If false is the actual value, not false, what it will become? True. So keeping a not in front of boolean values make them reversible. Make them reversible. Let's say I am saying that not cricketer. So you are saying that the person is not a cricketer, right? So if you are saying that not true means it will become false, means you are converting the value. Same way, if your initial value is false, so you will say not false, and not false will become true at the end, right? That's it. So here we have written this service. Now we do need to use this. So at first, from the third one I will remove this, from second one as well I will remove. Means at first we will be working in the first component only. So remove this. For using this, we need to create a constructor in the class that it is having a private service which is coming from subscription service. So first let's import it. So we do need to import the subscription service. Okay, we have imported it, and here again we will start writing the thing. So I am writing that I am having a constructor, and constructor is declaring one private service field whose type is subscription service. That's it. Understood? Now in this particular part we have to start writing the things, but here at first I will declare some value as well. Here at first we have to declare some values. So I will declare the values in this way. Let's say is subscribed, means if particular part is having subscription or not, and I will say that it's a boolean value, and by default its value is false. By default its value is false, right? Any problem till now? The next thing that we are going to do is we have to make the use of this service. We have to make use of this service. How you will use it? So I will write this dot service, this dot service, because you are going to use this particular service. So you have to write this dot service dot subscribed with the dollar. This dot service dot subscribed. Or you can do one more thing, that in the constructor only you can write, because constructor will execute these things. So I'm writing these things in constructor as well. So I'm writing this dot service dot subscribed, and this subscribed will be taking the value of subscribe status. It will be taking the value of subscribe status, and it will take that status value, and then it will say that this dot is subscribed equals to state. When this particular part is gonna completed, now we can call the toggle subscription. If we are calling the toggle subscription here, right? So what we are doing, we are calling the toggle subscription. Now from where this toggle subscription will come, right? Because first part, it should come from somewhere, right? You will see that which lacks return type notation implies any return type. So it is saying that toggle subscription is having any return type. So no problem, we will try to declare something. So I will say this dot, let's say subservice dot toggle subscription, means we are going to use it. What we are going to use, or let me remove this background color kind of things. Okay, toggle subscription is throwing error. Okay, do one thing. At first, let's understand this workflow, that what we did in this particular application. So let's go to inspect, and then we'll go to console and refresh it. So technically there's no error coming, but even though working is not fine here, if I click on subscribe, it is becoming unsubscribe, and it is saying service is working. It means that it is holding the previous values. Wait. We need to run the project again. Okay, let me just diagnose it once. Give me a minute, let me figure out. We are missing something. We'll check and just get back to it. Okay, got it. So this is the problem, like we have removed the constructor also, but Angular is still taking that you are having in 14th line some sort of constructor, but it is coming from third component. Okay, so let's get the things back. We forgot to remove all these things from the third component. That's why it was throwing the error. Again, third component. Wait, we'll remove all the files from the components that we have declared. Okay, so now first component is coming, but without the button. Okay. Here in the first component, this will create the button again. Okay. So first component is working now, subscribe and unsubscribe. But last time also it was working. Like, what's the new thing here? The new thing here is you are going to use the string interpolation to declare that value. You are checking is subscribed. If it is true, then you have to keep it to unsubscribe, then subscribe. But what we will do is we are already using these things previously. We should synchronize the values. So for that, we need to make changes to the second component. So first component is working fine. So I will remove it. I'll go to second component TS and HTML. These two things I will change. So the first thing that we need to change here in the second component. So first component is going to synchronize with it. So at first, let me remove all these things because we are not using these now. First thing, that to this class, same thing you have to do. You have to create the age subscribed, which will be a boolean value, and by default it is going to be false. Means not subscribed, by default any value will be false only. After creating that, same thing, creating the constructor again, and constructor will be having a private service, right? So it is having a private service which is equivalent to subscription service. So first we need to import that. So I'll write import subscription service, right? So we have imported it. Okay. So we have created a constructor with the private service. Now in this, you need to use something. So let's expand it. The first thing that I will write to this constructor, or let's say we are going to synchronize. So give it to class. First, you need to import something. So you need to import component we are already importing. You have to import on in it, right? You have to import this on in it as well. What is this on in it? So let it get load the things. It's a life cycle hook that is called after Angular has initialized all data bound properties of a directive. So whatever, when if someone thing is changing, it will try to fetch that thing. So after the constructor, I am trying to use ng on in it. Ng on in it. I am going to use ng on in it. Now what is this ng on in it? Same thing, same function you need to write. So I will write this dot subscript, this dot service. Using this service, I will subscribe, and using this subscribed I will try to subscribe, which will be having a status value. Using that status value I will try to change something, so I will say this dot is subscribed equals to status. Whatever status is coming, merge that. Now we have created this thing in this way. Its HTML file should be having a button, and in button same condition I will write in string interpolation, that is it depends on the value of is subscribed. If this value is returning true, question mark, if this value is returning true, so the value will come here as subscribed, right? The value will come here as subscribed, or else the value will become not subscribed or unsubscribed, something like that. Not subscribed. Same thing, go back to ts, and here subscribe, here it is saying you that you have to subscribe the channel, and this button is saying you not subscribed, means till now you haven't subscribed to this channel. Let's click here and you will see it changes, right? It is changing. This particular part is showing the status, this particular part is showing the, let me tell you, here let me keep subscribe and unsubscribe only for removing your confusion. Unsubscribe. So this particular second component is showing you the status, that are you subscribed now or not. What if I'm clicking here? No click. It will not accept any click. Click will be accepted by the first component only. Subscribe. So it is saying that you are subscribed now. That is why I was writing the status. The first status is not subscribed, and second station is subscribe. So this is your component. Refresh it and subscribed and not subscribed. So it is asking you to see the first working component is the using component. This second one is just showing the status. What is first showing? Subscribe, means first component is asking you to subscribe. So second is showing the status. Let me write one more thing in the second HTML, that this component is showing the status. This component is showing the status of subscription. So now you can understand. First component is saying please subscribe to our channel. And second component is saying that this component is showing the status of subscription. This particular component is showing the status of subscription. So when you click on subscribe here, you will see that it is showing subscribed. It is showing subscribed, right? That now you have subscribed to the channel. If here you are unsubscribing, it will say that non-subscribed. So that's how shared component actually works. So create a service and name it as subscription service, right? How you have to write its code? So the same way, go to VS Code. In this way, you need to write its code. After creating the service, in the next query step, use the newly created service in first component. So I will write first component.ts, means what you have to write in typescript file. Giving the entire code in the documentation so that at least you can copy paste the code if you are stucking somewhere. And how you will write the HTML file. So I will write first component.html. Okay. In the next step, that is step 3, use the service in second component to show the status of subscription. So this is what you need to do here. And this is the services section. Or typically this is a shared service which will be shared among the components. I think services are like you are having some sort of confusion in services, right? Your faces are saying this thing. Yes, what about those who are joining online? How much percentage you got the things about services? 50%. Okay. Because I know that services are like a different topic. So everyone faces these kind of problems. Okay, so no problem. If you are having some sort of confusion or like you are completely not getting the details about services, so no problem. I know that what will give you the problem, even though I asked that if you are not understanding it, because I know that services and dependency injection are a totally different topic. Totally different. It's not combining anything, right? It is not combining anything. So just give me a minute. So here we are right now, services and means in this part. And all of pipes we have already done, right? Template and everything done. After that we are left with Angular forms, HTTP request, technically fetching the API that we have already done, but again we will send you authentication and modules, RSJX, and just deployment. So what we will do is we are holding the services for a while because I think it's like problems and all things got with you. First, let's complete the Angular forms. Okay. Because services, if I am teaching a next thing again here, that what is the cross component communication, what is the injection token. Again, if you didn't understood the services, so it will give you problem. So we are just merging the things. First, we will talk about Angular forms. After that, we will again come back, let's say after completing HTTP request, then we will come back to services and we will give it a fresh start. Right? We will give the services a fresh start. We are not dealing with it. So let's talk about the forms. How many days it takes? What is the date today? 5th of February. We will close up very soon, like 10 to 12, max to max 15 classes, not more than that, right? Feb 15th, can't say Feb 15th because 2 Sundays will be there. One Sunday will be there on 9-10 working days. No, not on 20th February or something you can say. And we started on 2nd of December. In that also we had 10 days Sankranti holiday. Feb 14th. Hey Karthik, shut up. Do you have any plans, Karthik? If you have plans, you can take holiday. Okay, so we are going to talk about Angular forms, right? Angular forms. Generally, we are not talking about only Angular forms. So completely new topic I am taking here so that you should be having some refreshment. We are going to discuss about forms in Angular. How you can best define the forms? Like what is form? Form are used to take users input, right? Forms are used to take users input. Whatever user is trying to give you, you will take that input. Let me give you a glimpse of that. Let's say this is a form that you have created. In that form you have created two different fields, right? You have created two different fields. In those two different fields, in the first very field you are asking the user that enter your email ID, and then in the second one you are saying that enter your password. Enter your password, right? You are saying enter your email and enter your password. So you are technically taking the user's input only, right? Whatever user is trying to give you as an input, it's just a form, right? then why especially we are talking these things in Angular? Like what Angular will give new, right? Okay. So for that, we'll first create a new project. ng new, or let's say directly I will write forms. Okay, till the project is getting created, let's discuss something about forms. So we have discussed that forms are used to take users input. That's it. After that, if we have to discuss that what are the types of forms in Angular, that how many types of forms are available in Angular. So there are two types of forms available in Angular. The first one is template driven forms, and second are reactive forms. Template driven forms and reactive forms. Okay. Now we are going to discuss that what is a template driven forms. So these template driven forms are like basic forms that you are doing till now. There will be a form tag, right? Then you will be having some labels. Then you will be having some input box with some type, input type equals to like normal kind of form that you are doing till now. So it will be a very basic kind of form. Template driven. Template driven means which are already available in Angular. So template driven forms are the basic forms. They are the very basic forms that are suitable for the development of a limited number of fields. Let's say email ID, password, email ID, name, first name, last name, email ID, password, age, very limited number of fields, and with a simpler validation. When it comes to form validation, if your form is having very limited fields and a simple validation, very simple validation that in number field you have to write numbers, very simple. So that forms comes under template driven forms. There are some properties associated with template driven forms. Those are that in this form, each field represent each field represented as a property. Name, age, gender, all these are properties of an object. So in this form, each field represented as a property in the component class, right? Means whatever field you are having, you will declare them in the component class. Something like that you will do. The next thing is means you need to import forms module. You need to import forms module from @angular slash forms package. You need to import forms module from this particular package. Okay, for using the template driven forms. So here let's discuss about key concept of template driven forms. Key concept means what you will be seeing in this particular project, or when you are creating a template driven form, how many fields you will use, how many directives you will use. So something like that. So the first one that you are going to use here is that is called ng form directive. Ng form directive, the first thing that you are going to see here, and what it will do. So this directive represents the, or you can write represents an angular form and exposes methods and properties related to it for validation and data manipulation purpose. Okay, this is ng form directive. Second thing is ng model directive, and I hope you remember the concept of ng model directive because we have already discussed this, right? Ng model directive, we use it for two-way data binding, remember? Ng model directive, what it will do, this directive is used to achieve what? Two-way data binding. Two-way data binding between different form control method. Because we are already using this directive, so we know about it, that what is ng model directive. After that, that thing you are going to use here is you will going to use the validation properties. You will be using validation properties. Angular provides different validator properties that can be applied to form. Means Angular only will provide you some of the validation that you can directly apply to the form. Form control to indicate their validation state. Now, how many validation states are there? For that, let's discuss about something that is first one, that is called touched. Something called as touched. Touched means a boolean value indicating a boolean value which is indicating whether the control has been touched or not. Means if you have defined some control, whether you have done that control or not. Touched means using that particular control. Second one is untouched, same way and same thing it will do, right? It will do the same thing, that it is the opposite of touched. Means whatever value this touch is returning, let's say touch is returning true, so what untouched will return? False. It is the opposite of touched. Then next thing comes as valid. Next thing comes as valid. Here for this valid you will write a boolean value indicating whether the control's value is valid or not, right? Let's say you have valid means, let's say you have created a username, and in username you have said that your username should consist at least one capital letter, one small letter, and it should contain one special symbol and one number, and the length should be 5. Now, if user is trying to say capital A small b at the rate of 1, is it valid? The requirements were it should one uppercase letter. The next requirement was one lowercase letter. The another requirement was one special symbol. At least one special symbol should be there. And the another requirement was one number. And last, total length should be at least 5. Total length should be at least 5. Tell me, is it valid username now? No, because length is not 5. If you are keeping here 2, now it's a valid length because it is having one uppercase letter, one lowercase letter, one symbol, means one special symbol, one number, and total length is at least 5. More than 5 you can keep. So this valid state will return whether the form is valid or not. Then we do have unvalid as well. So this is going to be the opposite of valid. It is opposite of valid. If valid is returning true, unvalid will return what? It will return false. If valid is returning false, it will return true, right? Then we got something called validation directives. What we got? Validation directives. How many directives Angular can provide you to validate the form? Validation directive. So let's talk about them. So we will write that Angular provides several built-in directives to deal with the it's invalid, guys. Like I have written it wrong. It should be invalid instead of unvalid. Angular provides several built-in directives to deal with the validation of input fields. You guys know validation or not? Validation of input fields. So this Angular will provide you lot of directives to be doing that automatically. So Angular provides several directives to deal with the validation of inputs automatically. Now what it provides? The first one it provides to you is required, but you will say it's from HTML only, that if you are keeping input an attribute required means you have to write it. Angular also gives you this kind of support. Then Angular gives you one support that is called min length, that for this input box this should be the minimum length of the input that you are giving. Second is max length, means this should be the maximum length of your input box. Then we got pattern, like your input should be in this particular pattern. Then we got email, and like these things are provided by Angular only, right? These 5 things are provided by Angular. So this was about the template driven forms. Then we do have something called reactive form. What we have? Reactive forms. So let's have a quick introduction about reactive forms as well. So these are the model driven form. The first one was the template driven form, but they are the model driven form. Okay, let me clear it out. What is template in Angular? Generally, to your HTML file, you say template, right? Template or view, remembers? Template URL, template style. So to your HTML file, you say template. Template driven forms means form will be managed by HTML file. Who will manage the file? HTML file. And here you are saying model. And to whom we say model here? TypeScript file. In Angular to TypeScript file we say as model. So this reactive forms are model driven forms which will be managed by TypeScript. Means creation and updation and deletion everything will be managed by TypeScript. So that's a reactive form. So first thing that we will write here is reactive forms in Angular are the model driven forms that are used for that are used in complex situations. Wherever you are having some complex situation, because you cannot write logic in HTML, right? You can write logic in TypeScript only. So whenever some logical form is coming, you have to use the reactive forms, right? You have to use the reactive forms. So we will write that they are suitable they are suitable for large creating a large form with different form fields and complex functions. No problem. First we will talk about it. Let's say our project. So project is created. Let's start the project. So project is working and we will do the same thing that we are doing till now. Whatever we are having in app component file, we will remove it. Same thing we will do with its CSS. There is no CSS in app component. We will just declare one heading that template driven forms and just go here and it's coming, right? So we will quickly create a form like HTML form only I will create. So let's say this form is having a label. Label is saying that email and it is having its input which will be type equals to email, right? Then keep some BR tags. Then again one label and this label will say password. Then a input type equals to password. Then again some BR tags. Then input type equals to submit. So we can write a little bit of CSS also. That form is having a padding of around 20 pixel. It's having a border of 1 pixel, solid black. So that's how your form will come, right? So we can write its width as well, that its width is with content. So that's how your form is coming now. So you have to write some sort of email here, some sort of password here. And if you are clicking on submit button, it should do something. Like we are going to see these kind of things. We will try to validate this form. We will try to do other things as well. Okay. In tomorrow's session.